Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Indian racing community. Good evening as we go to the land down under for round 2 of season 10 here in Tier 3. It was a fantastic opening round of the season at Bahrain, which saw many drivers establish their credentials and many of them establish a firm grasp on the WDC after only one weekend. We've seen so many strong showings last weekend, excuse me, that it only seems fair that we continue that run of form with a great race here in Australia as well. My name is Rystle. I'll be your commentator this evening, and joining me in the commentary box is ABD, and behind the scenes, Dan will be handling the cameras. ABD, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Itzel, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's been a good weekend of racing so far in real life, and I'm looking to see more of that in the virtual world in our league as well. So let's quickly go ahead and hop into the track video. So then, Australia, 14 turns, 3.3 miles, 3 DRS zones, lots of overtaking opportunities. The track has been modified in recent years to improve the quality of racing. It's still going to be tough to mount overtakes here, but drivers will definitely have an opportunities going into turn 1, turn 3, as well as turn 13 as well. But all the rest of it is going to be focused on consistency and lap times. So, in order to see how we nail a lap of Albert Park, let's have a look at the hot lap.
Hello everyone and welcome on board a lap of Australia with a very own Tier 1 driver Rystle. Now preparing the lap, you want to be on the left hand side for turn 1, brake just between the 150, use the inside curve to get nice rotation, slow and fast out for that corner now, get a good exit and keep the throttle up. Now for turn 3 you want to brake just as the barrier finishes on the left hand side, take a late apex. Through these sequence of corners it's important to keep the momentum high as you're balancing the car with the brake and throttle slightly. This corner, it's a bit treacherous, so be very careful with the steering. Turn 6, you want to just do a flick to the right and then keep the momentum up through that corner. Now, if you're on the old game, you'd be preparing for a braking zone, but now it's all flat, so you just keep the steering as minimal as possible and just keep the momentum up high. Preparing for the turn 9 and 10 chicane, brake just over the 50-meter board. Take a cut back line here, use all the curve possible and make sure you get a good exit because there's another DRS zone coming right up. Now, braking for turn 11, you would just want to brake just over the 50-meter board, take a late apex now, and you don't use the curve if your setup isn't very curve friendly. For this one, just flick the car in, keep the momentum up high. This one, if you want to avoid braking in the grass, it's very easy to do so. For here, you want to just balance the car with the throttle, get a good exit as you head on to finish the lap, and that's a great lap of this beautiful, beautiful circuit.
Was a great lap there by Rystle, a tier 1 driver. Fantastic lap in the Ferrari, a 116.9 there, the kind of target time that you're looking for. Although TT is different to the actual race itself, you'll expect grip levels to be different today. But more importantly, drivers will be a little bit more cautious about pushing the car to its limits. We won't be seeing as much of balls to the wall, if you will. We'll be seeing more of a cautious approach in qualifying, but drivers will still be leaving everything out on the track. So, ABD, what are your predictions for qualifying? Do you think drivers will be pushing it to the limit, or do you think it's going to be more of a laid-back approach with more of a focus on the race?
I'm predicting it's gonna be a mix and match, but whoever is going to just send it in the first hot lap itself, they have to be just careful because they don't wanna DNF or basically, get their terminal damage in their first without setting lap because overtaking here is going to be a bit tricky. You have to be there's a lot of dirty air that's going to be there for a while, and yeah, considering that the quali is going to be really important.
Yep, absolutely. Qualifying high is going to be top priority for the drivers. And of course, as we're seeing in the background here, we saw some footage there of the opening lap from one of the races that's been held in the past. And we saw that drivers going side by side through the chicane, especially on the first lap, is going to be difficult. And you're going to see a lot of position changes. Australia is one of those tracks where we definitely see a lot of position changes as we do head into
Oh,
the weather forecast for this evening. And it's going to be a wet qualifying for the first 10 minutes. So, definitely not good signs for the drivers. We should see the track drying up towards the end. It did say that towards the 15 to 20 minute mark that we should see some sunshine. So we can expect drivers to go out now on the wet tires, but it's definitely not going to be a representative time, especially with the track trying and getting better over time. We might see some late runs on the softs as well. While we are waiting for the drivers to come out on their hot laps, though, let's have a quick summary of what happened in the last race. So obviously, Blaze won the race at Bahrain and currently holds P1 in the Drivers' Championship. And he also got fastest lap during that race, so he's currently sitting on 31 laps. Destroyer, Drac, and Shub Kumar not that far behind in the driver's standings, all to play for today. Of course, it is early in the season, so there will be opportunities for other drivers to capitalize on the misfortune of others and those around them. You know, you can't expect every driver to be consistent over the course of a season, but that is truly what separates a champion from the rest of them: consistency and the ability to, of course, go fast. That matters as well. As we're seeing, first driver out on track, it is Ripe in the Williams. It'll be an opportunity this weekend for Ripe to improve on his result from last weekend. He finished P8 in the end, but he'll definitely look to improve upon that this weekend, ABD.
Yeah, definitely is going to be doing the comeback drive. So Racer was the first driver to come out on track, and surprisingly, he just came out in 30 seconds. Didn't take much time to load his setup. That was a bit tricky. I'm pretty sure he's going with the dry setup, but still, you might want to tweak a bit for the inter situation here. And these drivers have some guts to come out, given that the track is going to dry a bit. They just have to be careful not to DNF. Like I said, you don't want to miss the dry quali.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be little. What I'm looking for. Timid is the word I'm looking for. Drivers are going to be timid in these opening few laps. They're going to be taking very easy on the throttle, not really, with the intention of going very fast, because as the weather forecast did point out, ooh, that was a driver coming out of the pit lane that just did not see the closing speed of Racer in the background. And yeah, that's a lap off to a questionable start there for the Merc driver, and that was missed coming out of the pits in the Haas. So not an optimum start for him, but there's still time for him to improve on the lap time. His Ripe going through sector 1, just spreading it through the middle. This whole sector is good, carrying momentum. Not going to have much of an opportunity to do that in the wets as we reach the end of sector 1. Is he up on Racer's time? We won't know maybe once we know when we cross the line. But telemetry is not updating for now, because this is of course the first flying lap, so we get to see the delta from their next lap onwards. Just difficult part of the track, mostly flat out through here with change to the circuit. Turns 10 and 11 definitely the trickiest corners on the track. Important to get a good line through here, and very timid on the throttle there from Ripe, making sure to get good exit, and he does so. Heading now down to an important overtaking zone. This is turn 13. This is going to be where we see a lot of action in the race as drivers get a nice run out of the chicane. DRS open as well. Final few corners now. Again, important traction zones, especially here in the wet. This can make or break your lap. These few corners here, all about short shifting and trying to extract the maximum amount of traction. Although Ripe's going for some interesting gear choices here. Third gear through the final corner in the wet is definitely bold as he comes across the line, and that is the first lap of the session of 129.3.
Beautiful time set by Ripe there. A bit of wobbly steering there, but yeah, gets the work done. Looks like a decent time there, and Sagar is there, lapping him about 2.5 seconds faster there on the inters again.
It's a magnificent lap from Swagger, but I think that was more of a very nervous, sort of timid lap from Ripe there. We can expect him to get faster as the session progresses. And that's Mohan also slotting into P2, and not an influencer slotting into P1, 6 tenths faster than Swagger currently. The McLaren boys have definitely been putting on a show for us. They're currently leading in the Constructors' Championship on 36 points, but they're tied with Aston Martin, who are also on 36 points. So a lot to play for both teams going into this weekend. And speaking of McLaren, both drivers occupying P1 and P2, so I would say they're off to a pretty promising start to the session.
Yes, they are. The other constructor that we are looking for is Mercedes. Now, Racer was out on the first hot lap, but unfortunate that his hot lap ended as soon as he started there because questionable, maybe might have blocked his hot lap, and he just decided to pit there back. And yeah, these two guys are to look out for. the two Mercedes drivers. And another thing that I'm guessing might happen is the a hot lap impede that we should be looking out for. Australia is a bit narrow track, and there is a good amount of chances that if the drivers are not aware, then they might impede a hot lap of the other drivers.
Yep, absolutely. It is a very narrow track, and you do have to keep an eye out on your track map to see when fast drivers are behind you. Just get out of the way, because you don't really want to deal with the repercussions of blocking them and potentially getting into a big sort of, you know, shouting match with the stewards. You don't really want to have that at all. So just play it safe. Get out of the way. As Ritesh plays it safe and goes into the pits after his first flying lap. So as the weather forecast did predict, we're going to see clearing weather soon. So we should see more drying conditions towards the 15-minute mark. So I would probably say, educated guess, we should get one run on the softs towards the end. But that does leave a lot of room for improvement, and drivers will be pushing a lot on that one soft lap, because the track is going to be evolving at a rapid rate. And this is Uday threading the needle through the final few corners. Their drivers staying well off the track, not wanting to get in the way, just get on the grass. And Uday comes across the line on his first lap, and that is P5 for him in the end. Second off the pace, but a good banker lap nonetheless. Of course, as we did mention earlier, the wets is more of a warm-up to the actual quali session, if you could say, when the weather does clear up. But you never know, the weather could not clear up, and this could be the final finishing order. So drivers will have to get accustomed to the conditions.
Yeah, and it looks like Vinay is on a hot lap, whereas Sandeep is in lap, I believe, because of I believe Sandeep can also be on hot lap, because both of them have enough sufficient ERS to go for a hot lap. But unfortunately, Vinay just did not create enough gap, and he might be in a bit of dirty air of Sandeep there.
Could also be a secondary objective of getting a nice slipstream down this back straight. Could also happen. Could also be an extra additional motive for him. But yeah, as you said, it's going to mostly be a lot of dirty air for him. Yeah, he's understeered a little bit on the exit of the chicane as well. So not ideal for Vinay, but could be worse. Could be Racer having to abort his lap at the first corner. So it's definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And we can see few drivers spinning in the sector 2 right there. It looks like they're going off the... it looks like they're taking more of the curb there, and just managing the car to not get the terminal damage there. So all's good. Oh, and Sandeep decides finally to give way, because Vinay is going to be continuing his hot lap for another run, and Vinay gets a decent time there. P14 is what he has got right now, but I don't think he has enough ERS to go for another hot lap there.
Actually, in the wets, the effect of the hot lap battery mode may not be as strong, so drivers will actually flick between having it on and having it off, maybe using it just on the straights and maybe turning it off in the traction zones, because that the way the energy is delivered by the engine is very torquey and can really unsettle the car in the traction zone. So drivers can sometimes make a lap work on 40-50% ERS. This is Blaze winding up a lap, 100% ERS, and let's go on. Through turn 1, a little bit of traffic up ahead though. Little waggly tail through turn 1. The traffic moves aside for him though, as he makes his way through. I believe that is his teammate up ahead. They actually might be on outlaps, actually, both of them, because they don't seem to be using any battery right now. They're just getting to grips with the track conditions and on the outlap. So currently not many drivers on push laps. This is Racer on a push lap, but his battery is very, very low.
Yeah, it looks like he has already done a hot lap, because he's already up there on P4, and he retires there just in the last turn, I believe. This is our first retire. Oh, he hit.
Oh my word.
That's just unfortunate, but luckily he did not get stuck in the pit lane. Otherwise, it was a direct disqualification. But there it is, our first terminal damage of the wet quali there. And he is the first driver to miss out the dry quali.
what an unfortunate way to crash out of qualifying as well. Just seemed like he maybe took too much speed into the pit lane, understeered and hit the outside wall of the pit lane entry. And unfortunately, the contact was enough to put him out of the session. That is unfortunate for a Mercedes driver, because if this session is going to be getting better over time and we're going to be seeing some track evolution, he could very well find himself very far down in the order, maybe in the bottom 5, going from the top 5 to the bottom 5 over just a small mistake such as overcooking it into the pit lane entries. Unfortunate for Racer, but such is the way that F1 is. It can be punishing sometimes.
Yes, it can be. I would say he's gonna be, yeah, like you said, in the bottom 5. Into the sector 3, we can see a lot of people waiting around to. Okay, they're just making way for the drivers, and as well they just going to box apparently. Oh, and there it is, Blaze spinning around in the inters. I think the track is drying up now, and I don't think if there is any need for the drivers to, and then just doing the same. Another driver losing the traction there. So it looks like the temperature might be high for the inters right now, because we can see the rain has stopped right now, and they should be just cautious and pit right now and wait till the track is completely dry.
Just go on board, not an influence. I believe he was purple in sector 1. Has he improved on his time? I think he's dived into it, so he backed out of the lap, but he was purple in both sectors, so the track definitely is improving over time. So we should be seeing maybe a soft run in the final few minutes of quali. But yeah, as you said, a lot of drivers are struggling with the conditions right now. Would that be a retirement? Is that retirement there? No, he's just lost his front wing. Okay, a little bit of a tap there from Ripe on the rear end of that is Deadshot, who both the AlphaTauris haven't set a lap time yet, so choosing not to set a lap in these inter conditions. So they both were in the pits until just a few minutes ago, and unfortunate for Deadshot that he's come out exactly when at a bad point and he's lost his front wings, and now he'll have to dive in, get a new set of tires, and of course a new front wing. But it could actually be a godsend for him if the track conditions are improving. He could go on the softs. I don't think the track is ready just yet, but it could be in a few minutes' time.
Yeah, I think it's gonna take a minute or two more easily. But here's the most important thing: one of them has to get 5 place grid penalty, and we are not sure who it is. And if it is, it's going to be arguably unfortunate, for both of them, because both of them were on Hotlap. So that's just unfortunate to see that.
Hey folks, what's up?
Good evening, Kapil. How are you doing?
Good evening, I'm doing very well. Hey everybody, how's the situation on the track?
Yeah, so
It's been good actually. We saw the weather forecast so that we have a little bit of drying conditions towards the end of quali. We've got one retirement and one almost retirement just before we joined us. So yeah, the quali looks to be spicy so far and could get even spicier as the conditions improve. Track evolves, dries up a little bit. You could see time dip even more.
May anyone risk it for the drives, or is it gonna be a wet quali to be in?
Yeah, could be. The both AlphaTauri boys are definitely hoping for the track to dry up a lot and just go out for a run on the softs. Both of them haven't set a lap time as of yet, and I mean Deadshot was about to before he was rudely interrupted, you could say, by the Williams. But yeah, both of them are the only ones who haven't set a lap time so far. Everybody again going out on the inters again. Dan, if you could get the tire information, the current tire that all the drivers are on, you can have a look at the McLarens. I think they're definitely, yeah, all of them on the inters still. So I don't think anybody expects the track to dry up much more towards the end of the session. At least enough so to warrant going on the softs.
You never know. You never know. There might be one brave soul out there looking out to glory. Time will tell. 3 minutes to go. Who's been the favorite so far? I see not an influence just starting his, I believe, last lap with 3 minutes to go. I'm not sure why everyone is in this kind of a formation. Are they looking for multiple laps given the drying conditions and the fact that the tires won't wear out so quickly?
Yeah, well, that was the strategy. So for Inters, apparently drivers were able to do 2 consecutive hot laps with some extra fuel load, and even the battery was sufficient for 2 consecutive hot laps.
Clan boys on top, Alpha Tauri boys on the bottom. Interesting story. Even the real life counterparts.
Indeed.
In real life, you won't be seeing the McLaren to the front for a very long time. So it is a bit of a dream scenario for them, maybe. But as we enter the final few minutes of quali, most of the drivers out on track. Just a few drivers in the pits still. Mr. Rauk has not set a lap at all until now. At least one of the AlphaTauri boys has dipped out of the garage. So Mr. Rauk still waiting. He has to come out now if he wants to set a lap. I think he may be choosing to sit out quali entirely and start from the back. Time will tell whether that's a wise decision. But final few flying laps now beginning. We will see the likes of Maamu and Mighty Owl on their outlaps right now. Wolfenpedia destroys track as well. And as Couple had pointed out, track evolution is going to be quite large, especially with the weather forecast update. We may not see fully dry conditions, but the later that you start your lap, the higher up your time may potentially be, because track evolution does ramp up quite a bit towards the end of the session, especially with the change in weather conditions. So with a minute left, those who are already on a lap need to finish their lap with battery remaining, or they could choose to back out, obviously. But that is not an influencer going 3 tenths faster in Sector 1, but unfortunately right as Sector 2 starts, he invalidates. Not ideal for him. Blaze, his teammate, right behind him, up on his personal best, but not faster than the session best for Sector 1. But he definitely does have an opportunity to put a time in over his teammate. His teammate just invalidated. Yellow flags in Sector 3. I think this is drivers slowing down for one another and giving them the space, because this game is really warped in that aspect. Does not recognize when drivers are slowing down to allow people by. He does go very, very wide on the exit of the chicane there, but the lap isn't invalidated yet because he probably lost more time than he gained. Final few corners now. This seems to be a very scruffy lap from the McLaren driver. Don't think there's much scope for improvement there, but he will keep his position at least for now. Not many drivers putting up a challenge from behind. Final corner now for Blaze, up on his personal best in Sector 1, down on his personal best in Sector 2, coming across the line. Where will this put him relative to his teammate? He crosses the line and finishes P2. That's end of qualifying as well. As he crosses the line, not optimum timing for him. Could have probably gotten another lap too if he hadn't made a few mistakes during the lap. Nice little bit of time there as well.
Right, and we are on board Destroy Track and telemetry disabled, who has the second purple Sector 2, and he is definitely improving on his lap earlier on. Tentatively looks like he's gonna get P3 if Ritesh doesn't improve right now. He does have like 50% battery, so it looks like this was his first hot lap. It's not a consecutive second hot lap there, and making the terms bit safe. He could have gained, he could have touched the apex a bit more there, but looks like he has lost some time in Sector 3. But however, he's going to go. Oh, he improves. Oh, he gets P2, and it's just 0.082 seconds off of the pole lap there, provisional pole.
He'll be kicking himself on that one. He was so close, but a little bit of a scoffy Sector 3, and I think that's the small difference between P1 and P2. Not an influencer. Well, he improves on his last lap to take provisional pole with a 126.8. A good lap from him, just stamping his authority, at least in these wet conditions. Now will it pan out for come race day? We will have to wait and see. Deadshot finally putting in that lap. Will he be able to take it to the finish line without crossing the line? He is sliding all over the place. He is the last one on track. But a exciting quali through to the end all the way. I think which should be a fun one come race day.
The shot crosses the line and he doesn't improve. I think that was expected. He was yellow in all 3 sectors. There was no improvement there. So the shot quali is officially over. We didn't really see any driving, but I think that was for the best, because we definitely got a top sector qualified with people with the order changing quite a lot towards the end. But at the end of it, Not an influencer is your pole sitter for today as we head into the race. Destroyer Drac not too far behind at the end, only 2 tenths off, and he'll definitely, as Kapil said, will be kicking himself that he didn't get that front row start or doesn't get that P1 start, if you will. Blaze another McLaren on the top at the top. So good start for both the McLaren boys. Actually, they'll both be.
Dan,
We'll expect them.
if you can quickly walk through all the lap times just for a reference. Sorry, Kitzel, please go on.
Yeah, no problems there. Pretty much that's the order. Red Bull car driver also put in a good lap towards the end there to start P4. A strong second row start for him as well as Red Bull boys. We'll be looking forward to that. But yeah, for the most part, we're in for a hectic race. Australia always creates, it's kind of known for not encouraging racing, but we always end up seeing a spicy race there anyway. Weather forecast did say a fully dry race, so we expect all the drivers to be on their dry setups. As once again, all the pit crews are doing the T pose in the pit lane. That's their salute, if you will, to the beginning of the race. And of course, as always, do drop your predictions for what's going to happen in the race in the chat, and we'll have a look a little later on and see if anybody got it right.
Yep. Dan,
Yeah.
if I can also request you to disable the weather format in the stream OBS so that we don't have a lovely turn one action interrupted by the weather forecast itself. That's something that we're working on, so do apologize for that. Just making sure that all of the racing is caught in its glory come turn one. And yeah, we're just a few moments away from the second round of Season X for Tier 3. So stay tuned, folks. It's going to be a lovely one. Tier 3 never disappoints, as ABD can attest.
Yeah, and few of the we can see few support for Wolf from even McLaren supporters out there in our YouTube comment section. Feel free to comment who you are voting for, who you are watching, supporting in this wonderful evening tonight in the Tier 3 race. We are keeping an eye on our comment section as well.
Yep, absolutely. We saw a lot of support for Wolf Imperia in the last race as well. People were calling to give him driver of the day for finishing in the points and got 1 point after disconnecting, and people said that was worthy of a driver of the day. So maybe take that with a pinch of salt. We're definitely expecting more from him this race. I think his fans are as well. So everybody asking for Wolf win, and McLarens will take each other out. So yeah, I mean, it's some spicy predictions coming in. So if they do come true, we owe you one, my friend. But yeah, just waiting for the drivers to ready up. Waiting for the drivers to load in their setups, make the final few changes. And that is Mr. Raut dropping out of the session there after not setting a lap in quali as well. Not quite sure what's happening with the AlphaTauri driver. We'll get more of an idea on that maybe after the race. But for right now, our focus turns to the drivers who are about to take to the track. Although it still seems to be.
Yeah, and it looks like just because of that disconnection, we might have to wait few more seconds, just giving enough time for Mr. Rao to join back and not miss the restart.
Yeah, absolutely. The AI on this game, especially, does not know how to drive. It's possibly the worst F1 driver there is on the grid at any point in time. Can't defend, can't attack, can't do anything. So if you do
Well,
go on AI, you end up losing.
I'd like to disagree. If anything, it's the most realistic when you compare it to our drivers out there. It's not consistent like everybody else, and it makes mistake like everyone else. So in that regard, I think they've done. I think this is a step up. But yeah, not ideal for the driver in question, who's been disconnected. But it is what it is for the time being.
Yep, waiting for the final few drivers just to join up again. As ABD did mention, we want everyone to be available for the race start. So we're just waiting for Mr. Raut, and I believe Vinay has also expressed some displeasure with his game and issues on his side. So we're just waiting for those to be sorted out. But yes, again, in the meantime, do drop your predictions for what's about to happen in the race. It was, if you are just joining us, not an influencer has taken pole position with a grand time in a wet qualifying, and his teammate Blaze is not too far behind in P3, but separating the the two McLarens was Destroyer Drac in P2, who will feel a little bit hard done by the fact that he did not get pole position after what was a fantastic lap, which was unfortunately let down by a few scruffy corners towards the end. And we find Maamu Kadmi rounding out the second row as well, and a strong start for him. He looked to make up some positions at the start and try to benefit from the misfortune of others around him, as will most other drivers on the grid. And we are going to see quite a few side by side battles on the opening lap. That's probably the only time you will see side by side racing at this track, because it's not really encouraged. It's not really great for your race if you fight people consistently. So you never know. Anything could happen.
Meanwhile, not to draw any attention away from the stream itself, Tier 4, there's some conundrums happening with folks unable to rejoin, and a coordinator hard at work to ensure that they get a fighting chance just like Tier 3. So it looks like a very similar case of both our tiers. And you love to see the game doing everything in its power to ensure that our drivers do not get a chance to drive. But that is Codemasters for you in a nutshell. Well, enough jibber jabbering. We've time for the race. We got 5 lights. 8 still take it away.
5 lights as we go racing down under. It's seems to be the same issue that we had in Bahrain, with the lights don't quite go out. There's a car reversing at the back, and lights out, and away we go. That's where everybody sets off. There was a little bit of an issue there, but everybody did get underway. Good start there for the Alfa Romeo driver in the background. It seems to be destruction and carnage going through turn one. That's Maamu Kadmi getting spun out almost immediately. Oh no, the commentator's curse comes in clutch once again. I did say he was in for a good race after starting P4, but unfortunately he's been spun even before turn one. Unfortunate for the Red Bull driver. Everybody going side by side, but still keeping it quite civil. And right as I say that, that's Merc there getting
Aston
spun
Martin.
out, it seemed like. That was an Aston Martin there of Jinan getting spun around. Unfortunate for him as well, but he'd be at least positive about the fact that it's happened on the opening lap, and everybody is still jostling for position and losing time as a whole. All three front runners get a good start, along with Ritesh as well. All of them scampering about at the front. Not an influencer, already a second and a bit clear of Destroyer Drac in P2. He had a great opening lap. If we could just briefly have a look at the tire information, my guess would be they're all on the mediums. And interesting to note that Destroyer Drac and Blaze are on the hard tires, so starting on the reverse strategy, both drivers, and that could explain why not an influencer has gotten such a jump on them. The mediums just get into that working window much quicker than the hards will, but the hards are much longer lasting tire. That's Wolf of Peria going down the inside of Mohan, and he takes P10, and he's already on the compactor. Has he gone into the pit lane there?
Yes, yes.
Oh my god.
Allow me to express my confusion there, because it seemed like he wanted to go for a move, and now he's
But
dived into the pit lane.
Yeah, that's
He did have a yellow wing. He did have a yellow wing on the left. Looks like it's just
yeah.
a turn one incident. Can we go on board Red Bull? Maamu had asked me to see if he also has a wing damage. I think he might have saved his car there a bit, and a couple of yellow flags here and there.
And Mohan going away at turn 6, losing 2 positions as a result of that. Not good for him. He's dropped a lot of positions come the race start, as has the other Red Bull driver as well. Right now looking very feisty, trying to faster a move, but it looks to be darting left and right with a lovely netcode at play here. Or is he just dancing around the track because he can? I'm not too sure. But yeah, that's it looks. The Alpha Tauri has actually made 8 positions up to P11, looking quite feisty there behind EP10 or E-Dog. That's good battles going all around the track. But meanwhile, with that medium tire advantage, not an influencer with the fastest lap of the race walking away. Ritesh right now He is a man on the mission with his fallen comrade. He wants to make the most of that medium tire while he still has the advantage. Stucking into the slipstream, but didn't get the DRS unfortunately. Going side by side into turn 3, but unfortunately not able to make the move. Sticks it round the outside. Still going side by side into turn 5. Wow, that was some insane stuff there. But Blaze keeps the position, maintaining P3.
Great
That
racing
was
there.
very.
More importantly, stayed on the curve and still managed to keep control of the car. So yeah, definitely good racing there. Three racing gave each other space, but they were lucky to get through there without incident.
That is the racecraft that you'd love to see here, and that's a fine example of our drivers at each other, but keeping it clean. That is a very scuffy line from Mighty Owl. He's going to be hounded by Swagger Turbo. Will he dump that ERS to make a move? Oh, Uday in the background, really making it known that he wants to make a move, but thinks better of it. That is some very cheeky play there to make himself as wide as possible, but unfortunately that is not an Alpine or an Aston Martin of Alonso to be doing that, but he did give it a try nevertheless.
Yeah, and we saw Red Bull driver pit box for hards. That's his strategy down in the drain there. He's gonna be hoping max to max he can extend those hards for probably 18 to 19 laps. So he definitely has to pit once more time, and so does Wolf Imperia. We are right now on board Ritesh, who's trying his best to get that position from Blaze. He has already got a 3-second time penalty for the extended track limit, and he is right on the right behind Blaze 555, and I believe the third DRS section might be just the charge for him. Can we have the in-game telemetry on SSG? Yeah, thank you. Oh, and looks like Ritesh is already down on 38% of ERS, and Blaze has his light flashing, and questionable line from Ritesh saves his car from spinning in the gravel there, and could not make the move in this lap as well. Looks like he has to wait for another lap, and comparatively more ERS is going to be dumped there. This track does have these comparatively good ERS regen, but 20% already in the bank is not something good for a longer run. And there he goes. Ritesh getting the DRS, and will he make the turn 1? Look like he might have get a warning for that, but yeah, he's gonna get the second DRS as well, and he goes flying past the car of Blaze 555, and Sagar Turbo and Mighty Owl. There's Mighty Owl sending down the inside. It was Saga Turbo who was sent down the inside of Mighty Owl. Mighty Owl losing the line, and they take the advantage of that. What was that? We see there, Racer and Vinay there.
Kids, already nice. This is turn PG-18. There is, I believe, a desync issue between the two because they've just mounted each other, but they are still on track. That is, I don't know the words for the time being, but a interesting situation with the Alpine, an Alpine sandwich with Racer in the middle, cutting the track with all his might and getting DRS. But amazing battles through and through, side-by-side battle with Swagger Turbo and Uday going side-by-side into the Sector 3. Uday stays in front, but it's basically going to be a 6-car battle with this midfield. Oh, you've got to love to see this.
Yeah, definitely. And Sagar going a bit wide on the track exit there again. Might have gotten a warning for it. And he's also dipped into the 65% ERS. Looks like drivers are being a bit impatient there. And we see you there making the move there. And he's going to get the second DRS as well. Oh, sorry, it was Uday ahead. Right. So it's Sagar who's going to try for the move, get the position back there. And whereas we see Vinay and Racer there. Mighty Owl being pushed again wide off track. Is the two Alpines together, Mighty Owl and Vinay. I hope they have a coordinated move there because they are definitely out for the position that Racer is holding them. Oh, and a bit of a desync again, but Vinay is very close to Mighty Owl. And
yeah, it looks like Racer has been able to overtake Mighty Owl last lap, so it's Two Mercs followed by two Alpines, and then E-Dog at the back of it. Now looks like Vinay has pushed his teammate, saying, "Get out of the way! I need to get going." But or was that? Yeah, then
Yeah.
that was the result of the team coming together. E-Dog taking full advantage, moving up into P9. Not the best sportsmanship. There could have been team orders at play, but Mighty all stood strong and paid the price at the end. But side-by-side action at the end of the turn 13. Jinan making a superb move on Sandeep, moving up, and behind you see Rife making the same move. He will also take that advantage. I think Sandeep might be on those ailing mediums or might have some damage. Just a confidence issue with him. Again dropping another position with Mohan also taking the charge. So the pack basically eating him alive at the moment, which is quite unfortunate for the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, he has lost about 3 positions there in pretty much just one sector, and we did call out the Alpine thing there. Vinay was very close to Mighty Owl and just bit of desync or uncoordinated touch that just yeeted Mighty Owl there, and he's gonna be losing some good amount of seconds there of this race. And it looks like there was a yellow flag in turn 2 that was from Mr. Raut, and Vinay ends up getting 3-second time penalty as well. Yeah, it looks like we are gonna see some good number of time penalties from all the drivers because of the track limits that is here. The narrow track, and if drivers are this hungry for a position, then we should definitely see some, I would say, 6 to 9 seconds of time penalties in their bank.
Yeah. But as it stands, we've got Racer, who's already disposed of the Alpines. Is looking really close to his teammate there, taking a wide entry because of that's the dirty air. Will he dump his ERS and the ERS as well? Thinking about it, but the desync is not helping any of us right now with his action. Luckily, no contact between the two of them, but you never know how it might pan out. But as it stands, Swagger Turbo still holding steady with a very marginal gap of under 3/10, while Uday has basically disposed of him and is driving away with it. Mighty Owl has spinned it into turn 6, and that, ladies and gentlemen, will be a safety car that has come out. That is our first retirement for the Grand Prix. Unfortunate with that contact with his teammate. And now I'm not sure if that was, I don't believe there was any damage in that incident per se, but you can still see there's damage even in safety car conditions. That does not stop. I don't know what's going on with Ritesh there, but oh yeah, it must have been an illegal overtake of sorts because Destroyer Track was in front of him. Having said that, what do you think is the right strategy for the medium runners? I see that our race leader and P3 have pitted to a fresh pair of hard tires, and so most of the medium runners. But what do you think the hard runners who started the race on the hards will do? They've at least Destroyer Track and Blaze have stayed out. That kind of puts them in an awkward position going forward. Thoughts on that, EBD?
Yeah, they're gonna just hope for that there's another safety car waiting for them around mid-race or probably later than that. So like probably 20 lap, somewhere between 16 to 20 lap, where they also get a free pit stop. Talking about the yeah, I think the driver has forgotten that there is no overtaking allowed in the safety car. And yeah, as I was speaking, we can say that it's a free pit stop for the medium runners here, because considering the safety car go on for 2 laps, they still have to, push these hards for around 19 laps, which is like the ending few laps are going to be, I'm predicting there will be some loss of grip.
Yeah, it is possible, but one good thing is that they will not have to suffer with the warm-up for the hard tires. That has traditionally been an issue in Australia. They can do all of that dancing and rituals before the safety car comes in, and they should be in a good position for the race restart. Interesting to note, you've got Gene and 20 who forgot that we were under safety car condition just a moment ago, who's still on his initial set of medium tires, so he has not boxed. Maybe a different strategy at hand, maybe considering that there might be more carnage up ahead and he can box later on. Possible question mark? We don't know. We'll have to see. But as it stands, not an influencer is a net race leader. After considering that they will have to be, the top two have not boxed yet, so he's in a commanding position right now with EP10 or EDOC 2009 in P4 who hasn't boxed. He was the one who took advantage of the Alpha Tauris in their kerfuffle, moves up into P4. But so far so good, I must say. I'm a little disappointed with Mighty all getting the short end of the stick in the Alpha Tauri battle. But other than that, we still have most of our drivers unharmed for the time being.
Yes, and Mohan decided to pit for fresh mediums there. He was on a set of hards with 8 lap old, but he decided to pit when the whole grid has already caught up and he thereby losing all the positions he had. So he's down to P17 there. I'm not sure the timing of the pit was right and if it was really required. Anyways, we are
leaving Ripe in the dust there. Swagger Turbo just taking no prisoners under safety car condition. I'm not sure if he will concede that position, but so was it the other way around? My apologies. Swagger Turbo, or was it Vinay? I'm getting the names mixed up.
I was also a bit confused at what happened there because there was a car who stopped on track there, but looks like everything is sorted for now, at least in-game wise. We're gonna see in the reports probably if there is any illegal overtake done under safety car. So the safety car is going to go for one more lap, which is going to be the third lap of the safety car. That is because Deadshot is yet to join the pack as of now.
Okay, so Swagger Turbo did give that position back to Vinay. Must have been an awkward moment between them, and luckily both of them did not get any penalties. I just want to take a moment to talk about Red Bull ka driver, or as we call him, Maamu ka aadmi. He is on 7 lap old hearts. He is already pitted from his mediums having damage in lap 1 or 2. And it's a difficult situation for him. Because, I mean, if you were to think about it from a strategy perspective, he has to take them to the end. He might lose too much time, but he may not be in such a bad condition as the drivers in P1 and 2, considering that they have to pit if there are no safety cars. So I'm a little interested to see how he has to go through traffic, but it would be interesting to see how his race pans out over time.
Yeah, he's gonna need the pinch of luck here. I cannot see his tires, going that long for till the end, and there it is. The safety car is going to be in this lap. So Maamu Kadmi is basically equivalent to the drivers who have not pit and who are on hard. So everyone is waiting for that free pit stop. And we have Drac who's going to be leading the pack right now. We have already got the notification the safety car is going to be in this lap and he is slowing down the whole pack.
You gotta love to look at that sight of weaving cars, but unfortunately they're only V6s and not V10s. That's just the age that we live in today. Destroy Drac, you're gonna control the restart with the McLarens right behind him. Not an influencer. Now with those fresh hards, will there be team orders at play? Will he want to dispose of Blaze 555 as quickly as possible? We'll have to wait and find out. But Destroy Drac is already on his way with the safety car restart. That is a good restart for the first 4, and the rest of them are sleeping. Uday is already being hounded by the entire pack. Sorry, is that Ritesh? Yes. Ritesh has been caught sleeping, and Uday is already making a move down into T1.
going side by side. He's already disposed of him. We've got 3 cars all going all around Ritesh, if I may add. For whatever reason, there is contact between Wright and Vinay. He's been pushed wide, and Jinan going to take advantage of all of that to move up to P7. Wow, that is not what I was expected to see, but we've got action still on the way. We've got Vinay and Swagger Turbo going side by side into turn 6, and there is more desync. So, folks, you're going to have to deal with this. It is PG-13, PG-18, whatever you call it. That is what is the case. And yeah, we've got the entire mid-pack just at each other's throat right now. The one wrong move, and you've got a cluster of cars being thrown off the track.
Oh, that was a very close move from Wolf Imperia, who did get 3 seconds just at that time, almost collided with Sagar Turbo there. And they both go side by side and pushes Sagar off the track there a bit. He might have got. There is the contact model, and Swagger Turbo retires. That's the end of the Mercs race there. And we see few more time penalties there. Mr. Raut getting a 5-second severe penalty. I'm not sure what happened there again, but we have the safety car out, and Destroyer Drac is already behind it. So this might be the time for mediums, I mean the hard runners, to think about. It's going to be sketchy, but oh boy, that looked nasty.
Indeed. That was not what you were expecting, because he came out of turn 12 side by side with Wolf Imperia. I'm not sure. It could have been Wolf Imperia not giving enough space, squeezed him a little too hard. He did have all 4 wheels on the curb at one point, but what is happening here? Anyways, but the question to ask right now is, what will the top 2 and P4 do? They have another chance, but unfortunately they missed out on the opportunity to pit before the safety car, before the lap actually began and the safety car came out. That means that the entire the entire crew, I am getting a loss of words here. The pack has bunched up, and they're going to be dropping like stones. Does this also give that an opportunity to Red Bull car driver to pit and Mr. Raut as well? If I would take this as the opportunity, but you could always say that, you know, damage and carnage is only a few corners away in tier 3 and tier 4 races. You could have that masochistic frame of mind and stick it out there. It looks that is the case for Destroyer Drac, but not for Blaze 555, as his name implies for Destroyer Drac. He stays out, as does the other hard runners. Yeah, you can see a good number of them coming into the pit to get rid of their mandatory hard tires and get that one stop in. But interesting decision by Destroyer Drac. What do you think is going on in his mind?
I would say that's a good move, because I didn't think there was a need of safety car at this moment, because it was probably just one lap after the safety car had resumed, and it's a great move from Destroyer Drac and even Maamu, Red Bull car driver, to not pit just yet. I would say yeah, there's one more safety car in definitely, and they don't have to pit right now. They can just take the positions, get up the grid, and as you can see, like the Blaze is already down to P13, so he has a lot of overtaking that has to be done to get back. And if these guys are able to get a free pit stop, like if there's a safety car around lap 19, then that will be just a bonus for them.
Yep, you heard it here, folks, from Abdul sir himself with his prediction that there's going to be one more safety car. We shall wait and find out if that is the case. The entire the pack is already back together. Safety car is coming in this lap. And Destroyer Drac.
Can we go on board Destroyer Drac? It looks like he has just stopped. Okay, it's fine. It looked like in the track map that he did stop there, and everyone got brake tested out there. But everything is cool. Destroy Track has it under control again. I'm sorry to cut you off there. Over to you, Kapil.
Yeah, no worries. Vinay has just come back just in time for the action. I hope he takes can't control before the restart. Destroy Track got a good getaway last time, at least with the leading pack. Will he send it again? No, he's taking his time. He's taking his time. And he's bolting right now, not an influencer. And the top four yet again have a good getaway. This time Ritesh sticking it with them along with Uday. Ripe this time being that bottleneck with almost a second gap. You've got a great move by Mist there on Sandeep again, and Wolf Emporia taking a superb move there. But as you can see there, Ripe has fallen victim and he's DNF from the race. Wolf Emporia on a superb charge with those fresh medium tires, making two moves with the start of this safety car. He moves up into P7.
And that looked like a damage to E-Dog's car there, and he has dropped down one position. Not a great restart for the mid-pack yet again in Australia. We saw Ripe getting succumbed to the damage there, and Deadshot drops down the positions. Fresh mediums working out for Mohan right there, and we see Drac holding a comparatively good lead up in front. And right now we are on board Blaze, who's trying to get the past Mr. Raut. Blaze does have the tire advantage, and he does that quite easily.
Sweeping around the outside, and as we say that, you got two more cars in the same corner who made the move on Mr. Raut as well. Mr. Raut is on 14 lap old hard tires, and it is showing.
Yeah, and he did miss his line there, causing and the drivers behind him did not miss that opportunity. Can we have the in-game telemetry to see who are being, impatient around here, to see how much DRS already people have dumped? And we can see Blaze already 40% DRS dump and more incoming to get that position from Red Bull. A driver who's on the old hards, 13 laps. He is right on his diffuser there. He is going to put pressure on those hards. He eventually might spin, so he has to keep his calm there. And just
Influencer very, very close to destroy Drac on that straight. It might be a move incoming anytime soon now. He is keeping steady with his ERS. Destroy Drac keeping that track position for now, but maybe in a lap's time we might have that DRS advantage, which might help start an influencer sail back into the leader of the Grand Prix. But he doesn't really have to worry too much because of that pit stop Destroy Drac has to make.
There we go, Wolf and Vinay side by side. Wolf getting that position again. The mediums proving out to be way better for overtaking at this scenario where DRS is disabled, and the alternate strategy is somewhat working for people there. And there we have it. DRS is enabled. Not influencer right behind Destroy Rack. He's not gonna have the DRS yet, probably in the final sector. And Blaze goes past Sandeep Murray there.
He is blazing through that pack on those medium tires, and he has to because come in a couple of laps time he will be dropping down as those medium tires age. As we see 4-car battle going on in mid-second. Make that 5 cars. You got a damage there. Red Bull driver again being caught at the blunt end of it, with Mohan and Sandeep being the other victims of it, dropping down. That is quite unfortunate there, because he was the cock in the bottle, but the drivers behind showed no mercy and shoved their way through Red Bull.
Not a great race for Red Bull there. Both of the drivers are now cruising in P14, P15, and not an influencer also being a bit impatient there, already dumping half of the ERS that he has right now, and he's already on the back of Destroy Drac. He's going to get the DRS, or 2 consecutive DRS that he's going to get, and we might see him be very close to overtake right now.
Yep, actually he's held steady last lap, maintaining that 50% ERS. But those ailing 17 lap old hard tires, you can see the excess speed that not an influencer has. He's going to go side by side on the outside, gets the move done well before the corner, and not an influencer moves back up into P1 of the Australian Grand Prix for Tier 3. And now it's just a matter of time before he sails off into the distance and claims that victory, barring any incidents there. Good over
Yeah.
from.
Yeah, and Destroyer Drag is running out of laps right now. 17 lap old. I'm guessing it's going to be 60 to 65% tire wear on the rear left for sure. It's probably maximum 2 more laps that he can extend, and the tire wear is not going to help him with the grip there. He might spin if he's taking an aggressive curb. So he has to pit soon, probably in a lap or two.
Yep, he's pushing his luck. He's pushing his ERS all the way to the brinking edge. I'm not sure if he's planning on making that dive into the pit right now, but I think it's about time. Blaze with those medium tires has sliced through the field. He's still in P8 and he's got a long way to go. Him and Wolf Imperium making great moves. Vinay there feeling the pressure of Blaze 555. You got that heat right behind you. But will he make a defensive move? No, he sticks it on the outside. Blaze gonna dive down the inside and get that move done. He has checked out, ladies and gentlemen. That is something else. But I'm not sure where this is. This is the last corner. Sandeep has unfortunately succumbed to another spin as Mist tried a move on Vinay there, but unfortunately could not make it stick. He will get another chance. We will see that happen again. But as it stands, the two alternate strategy boys of Wolf and Blaze right now slowly but surely making their way up the field.
Yeah, and we can see the time drop from Drag there. He has already lost about 1.3 seconds in this lap itself after getting overtaken in the last lap. So he's really running out of lap. He is really running out of time there. He has to definitely pit in the next lap. Whereas other drivers like Red Bull driver who does have a time of 2 more laps, hoping that the safety car comes out and rescues him.
There we go, Destroy Drag in. Let's see where he comes out and what tire more importantly goes on. Will he play it safe with a set of mediums, or will he go and become the destroyer with a set of soft? He does! He takes the gamble with the soft tires. He took it all the way till lap 20, and now let's see where he comes out and what kind of action we can have our way with 9 laps to go for this Grand Prix. Oh, having said that, we've got a reset to track and a completely destroyed yellow wing, and I believe a safety car with Uday.
Looks like it's a VSC. It's a VSC.
It is a VSC, but Uday completely losing his marbles there, basically disposing of his car parts on the racetrack. He will have to pit in for a fresh set of tires and a fresh new wing as well. That's quite unfortunate for the number 69 Ferrari.
Yes, indeed. Now with the VSC there, ERS has been enabled. Oh, and we resume. It's a green flag, and Jinan having a contact pushes off Mist wide off into the gravel, and Mist is gonna lose some positions there. He did lose 2 positions, and of course some tire wear on that. Jinan makes that position. Uday has to dive into the pits with that red wings, and that 5 seconds is going to be salt on his bone.
Quite unfortunate. Jinan, the OG, they're taking no prisoners, taking no mercy on Mist, completely shoving him off the track, saying, I'm having none of you right now. I've got the tires at the moment. And he, well, disgracefully moves up into P7. Having said that, Mohan MR09, our EA driver, diving down the inside of Deadshot. Deadshot is sticking in there. There is a bit of contact, a bit of sidekick action going on there. Mohan still staying in front of Deadshot, but this is an exciting battle that's going on with a little less than 8 laps to go. But as it stands, not an influencer over 4 seconds ahead of Ritesh, who has that time penalty. So Racer has that chance, even if he doesn't make the move on Ritesh there, he is in prime position for a P2 at the moment. Wolf Imperia had Blaze 555 on that alternate strategy, but Wolf gonna be really feeling the heat of that 9-second penalty at the end of it. But at the moment, you've got the two Honda engine or Red Bull engine, shall I say, vehicles going at each other's throats for P12. Deadshot still behind Red Bull driver there, who has just had a terrible race. The short track. Oh, having
Oh
said
my
that, he's
God.
missed his braking point, and we've got synchronized spin out there. Wolf Imperia luckily is able to limp out of that terrible moment there. He's got front wing damage, but Blaze 555 having had so many overtakes with that alternate strategy has dropped again back into P9. That is gut wrenching for him, having done so much effort. Now we've got the rest of the pack with Vinay and Jinan now hot on Wolf Imperia's tail. You got Jinan going round the outside thinking about it. You've got Vinay who's low on ERS, and you can see him basically stuck to the diffuser of Vinay there. He is really aggressive right now with a little bit of that freshness in his tires helping him out, but unfortunately unable to make that move at the time being.
And with just 5% of ERS to defend against the DRS that has already been enabled, and we see yellow flag in sector 3. There's a bit of contact and missed again, caught up in the action there. He has no wings, and unfortunate for him, already being in contact with Blaze earlier, and now with one of the
Safety
Red
car.
Bull drivers it was. And
And
there
that-
we have the safety car of the complete. Oh, drive through for Sandeep Maridu. That's it for him tonight. Red Bull car driver getting that free pit that he wanted there, and we see two people on drive through. That is Uday as well, and we see him jumping some positions. I believe those guys are in pits. Yeah, those guys are in pits. So two people not keeping an eye on Delta and Sandeep
That's
Maridu.
another 5-second penalty for speeding. Sandeep just loving that he wants those penalties at this point in time, as essentially fueling his race. It is now going to be a sweet end for him, or Uday for that matter. But now, as we stand, safety car waiting for the entire pack. You've got half of them who've already pit, while the rest of them have that gap. Do you think the top 7 will actually pit, or will they stay out?
I believe the pack is going to be controlled by influencer. If he does pit, then there is. Oh, he does pit, and I might see Ritesh pitting in as well, because it's a comparatively free pit stop. Yeah, they have to do it.
But
Uh,
Racer is staying out and he's moved into P1 right now. Where does not an influencer come out? That is the important bit right now. If he comes out with a couple of cars in between him and Racer,
Yeah.
like Jinan and E-Dog, this is going to be a hot battle to the end. We've got 5 laps. It might be less than that, might be almost 4 laps of racing. And you've got 3 really slow drivers. I say that with the utmost respect because of their tire life in between not an influencer and victory. The issue, the additional issue there is he has to make those moves on track, because none of those drivers have a penalty. So this is going to come down to the wire. We are going to see not an influencer influencing the rest of these 3 for the rest of the race. And if you have missed out on the action so far, ladies and gentlemen, now is not the time to be missing it, because we've got all this tension built up with a few laps remaining, and you've got the man in the hot seat, not an influencer, with 3 cars in front. This could be your typical esports challenger event with 5 laps and 3 slow cars in your way for victory, and you bet it's going to be a fun one.
Yes, definitely. And I would say the safety car is not going to be around for much. It's going to be only for a lap or 2 at max. Given that we are already into lap 24, all the pack is already caught up. We see drivers not far apart, and while the safety car is still on the track, we are just gonna remind our viewers, if anyone is interested to be a part of our community who enjoys anything related to racing, do check out our website and our Discord. Feel free to join. You can definitely take part with us, and uh, do share your views in the comment section.
Yeah, and even if you don't game, even if you're just a simpleton like an F1 or a motorsports enthusiast and an Indian, you still our doors are always open for you as well. We may be gamer focused, but our RL Racing channel for all our viewers have known to come alive come race weekend. So by all means, do not feel restricted to only join us if you're a gamer. The doors are open for any and all Indians who are racing enthusiasts.
Yeah, I'm just gonna fill in Itzel. So Itzel, we are into lap 25. We are waiting for the safety car to go in this lap, hopefully. And as you can see, we have 3 drivers with worn tire wear and rest of the grid with fresher softs. So the stage is up for you.
Yeah, thank you. Had to take a little step back for a minute. Just let these guys shine. Yeah, I was keeping an eye on the race. So I am fully filled in. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a hectic one. We've had 3 safety cars so far, I think. Am I right in saying we've had a lot of racing action going on? And Couple, what are your thoughts? You think those guys on the with the worn tires at the front, do you think they can defend, and for how long?
With 4 laps to go, it is possible. It is not out of the question. Now, the question remains of the decorum. Are you going to be hard but fair, or are you just going to send it as not an influencer? Because those tires are going to speak for itself. But it remains to be seen whether they can actually make it come alive. I'm not sure if safety car is actually in this lap, but I believe it might be.
It's in.
It is in. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the time is here. Racer has bounced. We've got not an influencer also with the pack. We've got a little bit of a gap from E-Dog to Jinan, but we are green light and racing is underway. He's already looking feisty right there. We've got, I believe, Blaze and Imperia having another moment there. A bit of a dump of of ERS from not an influencer there, but oh, that is not exactly what you want to be seeing. You've got those ailing tires of E-Dog with a bit of a slip up, holding not an influencer up, not in the best of ways, really hampering his pace, while there's almost a second gap between P3 and P2 already. But this is just making it a little more difficult for not an influencer. He is dumping his ERS. He's going to try to go around the outside. No, thinks better of it, but he's already lost 40% because E-Dog is now going to give it up. He is going to be that cock in the bottle. He is the first gate for the rest of the pack. As we say that, Vinay has basically bent it and he's dropped all the way down to the rest of to the back of the field. That is a little bit of unfortunate news from him. Having said that, as it stands, you can see not an influencer all up in the diffuser, gets a much better line on the outside. We need to look for a switchback. No, he sticks with behind, continues the deploy, but gets a little bit out of shape there, and is not ideal for him because Ritesh now is also joined in the action. He's going to have to defend and attack at the same time because Ritesh is known to be a sneaky fox at this moment. He is quite close, actually closer to not an influencer, thinking about a move, sends it down the inside, going side by side from attacking to defending, but not an influencer having absolutely none of it. And who enters the scene? Destroyer Drac enters the scene, taking advantage of that moment now. Destroyer Drac, from being in the lead, losing all those positions, has come back to attack not an influencer. You've got 2 of these soft runners and Ritesh behind them as well. But as it stands, you've got those ailing drivers out in front, line and stern with no changes. Great defending by E-Dog, I must say. But how much longer he can hold it on is what remains to be seen. But amazing racing so far.
Absolutely. E-Dog was helped out massively by the lack of DRS in these opening few laps after a safety car restart. But tell you what, though, it hasn't taken long for Not an Influencer to catch back up. There was a little bit of a gap there when Not an Influencer and Destroyer Track and
Oh
Ritesh got
my!
involved in the little
He's got
battle.
into
And
neutral.
he's
Yes,
got it
God.
in neutral there. No power on exit, no power on traction. There's a McLaren into the wall in the background as Blaze puts it into the wall. He's gone it full sideways. And that's not ideal for actually that might be. There's a few drivers who have lost out there. It seemed like
Jinan
Blaze had a
as
big
well.
oversteer moment. And Jinan and Mohan as well have all three lost out at this opening lap. Tell you what, it's been pretty much smooth sailing for the guys at the front there, apart from Jinan, who was one of those guys up ahead on the used tire set. It's unfortunate for him because that means Destroyer Drag, one more soft runner makes it onto the podium places. You know, how romantic would it have been to see those three worn runners out on the podium defending like mad from
Not
these
an
soft
influencer.
runners.
Makes a move. What an outstanding move there from Not an Influencer. Destroyer Drag for a very slight moment had that move on into Not an Influence, but he comes back with a vengeance to keep that P3. These guys are going at each other's throat, and it is amazing to see. Now he's going to be making another move on E-Dog. You've got hardly anything separate going round the outside. Will he be able to stick it? Yes, he can. Not an Influencer now moves up into P2. He's got 2.5 seconds, unfortunately, for between him and Razor, and we're going into the final lap. Will he be able to make it? That remains to be seen. But E-Dog's fight finally comes to an end. But he's got three soft runners behind him, and he's still pushing and defending like a madman.
Yeah, well, E-Dog was able to defend because it was the soft runners fighting among themselves. Had they coordinated a bit, I believe they would have gotten E-Dog quite early on. It was, I believe, yeah.
Gap has come down to 1 second already. This is insanity for the pace that Not an Influencer is showing. He's already got purple first sector. He is out of ERS, but he has got the pace. Racer is fleeing the scene, but the Mercedes can do little. He's probably quivering in his boots right now. We've got less than half a lap to go, but the gap from 2.5 seconds has come down to 3/10. He's got the TRS. Will he dump it for one last hurrah? We have to wait and see. Will he make the move right now or into the last corner? Thinks about it, sizing up the move, but thinks better of it. But look at the exit that he gets from it. He is all up in Racer's move. You've got 2 more turns to make. He goes onto the grass. He is going all around the outside. Will he think about a switchback? He's got overtake on the last corner. It's going to be down to the line. Who makes
It's going to be close. Oh, he's held on to it. What a finish. What a finish between Racer and Not an Influencer. The closest finish I would say we've had in IRC League Racing history. Woo! At least this season, of course. What a finish there by Racer. As Kapil said, basically side by side coming across the line. But what a hunt that was for Not an Influencer. 2.5 seconds in a lap. It's been breathless these last few laps.
Indeed, and you cannot write this stuff. This is the stuff of legends. Racer in that Mercedes comes out to take the victory. Not an Influencer losing out by 2 hundredths of a second. That is all it took. But no more laps, and that is the end of the Australian Grand Prix. What an amazing drive from all of these drivers. Lots of words. Absolutely outstanding stuff from these folks.
In your absence of words, allow me to take over there, Kapil.
Please
As we've got the podium runners here, that's as Racer doing a little bit of a gritty there on the podium. I think it was deserved after that amazing defense. He only had to defend 3 or 4 corners, but the way Influencer was on that charge towards the end, 2.5 seconds as he came across the line on the final lap to basically nothing between the two of them side by side. What a drive there by Not an Influencer. More importantly, great defense by Racer. I think we have to give a moment of appreciation to E-Dog as well. Basically gave the drivers at the front. Could have been Jinan as well on the podium today because of his defense, but unfortunately Jinan did have that little bit of a sideways moment towards the end in those final few laps. Just those hard tires not able to keep up with the demands placed on them. But yeah, what an extreme ending to the race. We definitely foresaw that when that late safety car came out, and we saw so many drivers dive in for the soft tires. And yeah, absolutely insane stuff. Box office race there. Tier 3 always delivers. This has been something that we've seen over past seasons as well. But Racer picks up his first win of the season. P1 starting P8, a great drive for him, but he'll be counting his chickens today because it was almost not a result for him. And what it could have been for not an influencer in P2, that last lap salvo from him could have gotten him a P1 after starting on the front row, but unfortunately not to be for the McLaren driver. Destroyer Drac as well was involved in that battle, but ultimately just a podium. Another podium though for him in this season. E-Dog as well, magnificent driving. I would definitely say couples driver of the day just for those last few laps alone. Kept those soft runners at bay for an extended period of time. Red Bull car driver Ritesh missed Deadshot, Jinan and Vinay round off the top 10, and the rest of the drivers followed suit as well. What a race. What a race. What a race indeed.
Hats off to Red Bull driver having a terrible start to the race and all the way up to, I would say, lap 20 to come out in P5. Oh, amazing stuff. That's some great strategic play there to come out with a fruitful finish at the very end. Good for him.
Absolutely. I believe he got tagged a few times in the rear as well in the race and, lost positions again. So, yeah, great drive by him. Great pace as well from Red Bull car driver. Great drive from all involved, really. We saw some great racing today. Some scruffy moments here and there, but, you're not going to always expect the best kind of racing when the shit hits the ceiling, if you will. It does get desperate sometimes, pardon my French. But let's go ahead into the podium interviews. We've got our two drivers here right now. We're still waiting on the last one. But I believe, Kapil, you've been more in touch with this race than I have, so you can handle the podium for today.
With all my pleasure. Destroyer, not an influencer. Are you with us?
Yeah. Yep. Hi, guys.
Alright. Okay, let's begin with our P3 finisher, Destroyer Drac. Walk us through your race. How did it go? Oh so well to oh so bad to oh so well again. Walk us through the ups and downs.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good start. He was pretty good, not an influencer. He just flew off. I could not even touch him. And I managed to maintain a gap both ahead and also behind. I was having a good race, but then the safety car kind of ruined my strategy there because I was in a very no-man situation. I was still thinking whether to pit or not, and then I was like, if I pit, then I'll pretty much be in the end, and considering it's Australia, it's very difficult to overtake there. So I thought, okay, let me just hold on to my luck and stay there. And eventually I could not hold on anymore because my tires were dropping off as they almost reached like halfway through there. And later on I I pit and came back. There was so much of desync. Unfortunately, I had to avoid a lot of incidents. Probably otherwise myself and not an influencer and racer, we would be fighting for the win. I had to hold off again. I think it was Dodge or someone, I don't know. Yeah, too much of desync, so I had to avoid DNFing myself there. So I just relaxed myself to podium there.
Well, I think commiserations are apologies there. I think at the end of it, with everything going on around the track, to have come out alive with a P3 in itself is commendable. So congratulations on the P3.
I'll definitely take the P3. I was hoping for a P6 after I pit and came out in like P13 or something. So yeah, I'll definitely take the P3. Thank you.
Alright, awesome stuff. Not an influencer. Have to move it to you next. How was your race? I firstly, my condolences. It was a superb drive from you through and through. To come out this close, I'm talking about millimeters close at the very end. How was the feeling? Just walk us through how you're feeling right now.
So I came into the race thinking that I'm going to make up for the three mistakes I did back in Bahrain. And the first stint was actually a dream scenario for me. And kudos to my teammate Blaze, because we actually decided that he's going to, fight the field for me so that I just go away in the distance. And I did come in the race thinking that, okay, if the safety car is going to come in lap like 8, 9 around, I'm going to push the hard tires to 20 laps, which was again a dream scenario that the safety car came in at the right time. The second safety car was when things didn't go really well in my favor because so before heading into the pits for softs, I just checked with my engineer that the guy behind me has 3 seconds penalty. So again, I thought that okay, I'm gonna chase him down to softs, and I thought that half the people are gonna go to softs, which did occur. But on the restart, E-Dog did glitch a lot, due to which the Alpha behind me and I believe Destroyer suffered. But yeah, I mean, at the end, I thought the guy who spun wasn't the one with like penalty, and Racer has the penalty. But okay, I just saw that okay, Racer is not having a penalty, and okay, that's like the win is slipping away. So I just pushed as hard as I could, but yeah, 200th of a second, from P1. But I'm quite happy with my performance. So on to the next week then.
Yep. Any choice words going through your mind as E-Dog was defending all over the place? I'm sure it was not consistent for you with him darting around. Made it quite uncomfortable to be on the back of him. I think many drivers suffered that throughout the race and getting a lot of complaints. But how did that make you feel, like being stuck, looking at the drivers in arm's reach, but you've got this one single driver making all the difference and halting your progress?
Yeah, so actually that's in the moment I really didn't wish to mess up the race behind me too, because then it's gonna just create a mess of our place. So I really wanted to be patient and not really lose my patience. It's really hard to judge when the person ahead of you is glitching that okay, was this a mistake or was this a glitch? So my idea was to go full ERS on the straight and overtake him, but then again the weaving, I would say the glitch weaving really makes it tough for you to decide. So I think patience is key in those scenarios, and I think me and Alpha did have a like a tap on the wheel of each other. Destroyer did took that opportunity and came, so I was just looking him in the rear view mirror. So it's a lot of stress from behind too. But then Destroyer and Alpha were fighting, so again it was a ease on my end that okay, if these guys are fighting, they are gonna slow down. But yeah, it's a very tough scenario to be in, I would say. Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's pretty much it.
Love your response there.
Just
Patience.
a small comment there, if I'm allowed to.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, but I would really like to thank not an influencer, because it could have easily been a DNF for 3-4 guys. So you held your foot down there and was a bit patient. I can understand how you saw from the behind, because I was behind you for quite a while when you were fighting there. So
Right.
yeah, it was a very messy one. Didn't know
Right,
whether to
and
go
I
for it or
think
not go for it.
right, and I think for a brief moment even you were right behind E-Dog, so you could feel the same
Yeah.
emotions I felt in the moment,
I
right?
lifted multiple times. I was a
Right,
bit
right.
afraid whether you would hit me or not.
Right. But I
Yeah.
really appreciate that you guys being behind me. You guys were, patient too, that you were braking at the right moments and there was no, hits on the back. So kudos to you guys also, yeah.
Yeah, GG, good
Amazing
race.
racecraft, or through and through. This is just what you love to see in league racing, and a fine example of that from all of you folks here in Tier 3. Loved watching every second of it, all the way to the very end. So great racing from all of you. Thank you so much. Not an influencer. Moving on to the victor of this Grand Prix, Racer. What happened there? Walk us through this insane victory.
Yes, the victory. It's an amazing achievement. Obviously, the quali went very frustrated for me. The lap was very bad for me, and I had a pretty bad start there, dropping me to P9. And Vinay was glitching a lot, so I was scared to overtake him. And then
Right. Yeah, well, like what went through your mind at that crucial stage, at the
I'm
last
a,
safety car, saying that
I
I'm not gonna
yes,
pit?
I thought I might lose positions after I boxed for softs, but I realized that my pace was good on hard tires, so that's why I didn't box for soft.
Well, it was an amazing strategy come the end. Of course, you had external factors helping you out. I think you should go personally thank E-Dog for his defensive efforts. He did
Yes,
defend
yes.
like a lion through and through. But can you just give me a sense of what went through your mind going into the last lap? You had little over a 2.5 second gap, vanished in a couple of corners and a couple of sectors. What was going through your mind looking at that charging, not an influencer, on the back of you?
To be honest, I had 2 warnings, so I was scared that if I get a third warning, I will get a 3-second penalty. So I was quite slow on the last 2 laps,
Alright.
and I tried to defend very hard, and obviously I got the win.
Well, you barely got the win, but yes, it is definitely still a win in your book. Well, congratulations. A
Thank
fine
you.
strategic move at the very end. And that's the difference when it comes to Tier 3 for this very Grand Prix. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your podium interviews. A fine performance from the entire pack and the podium winners as well. So I think, Botsel, do you want to have anything to say for the finish?
Nope, I think you
Guys,
summed it up pretty aptly there.
I just have to. Sorry, I have to interrupt you for a bit. I think.
Please go on.
The last bit of the stream wasn't captured. Like OBS kind of crashed.
I see.
Yeah.
Which bit in
So
particular?
we are not live, I believe.
Are we live right now?
Yeah, I mean it is the 1st of April, so yeah. Wish you all happy April Fool's Day.
That was a good one.
Thank you for that, Dan. Thank you very much.
This is my best race yet.
Good stuff, guys. Alright, that's about it from our end. Thank you so much for watching. Stick around for Tier 2 and Tier 1 tomorrow in the afternoon at 9 and 9 respectively. Until then, stay safe and see you then. Ciao.